Hello friends and viewers, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut and sew this beautiful corset flared dress with an halter neck. If you really want to know how to make this beautiful dress, please make sure you don't skip any parts of this video. This is a very complete and detailed tutorial. Please guys, remember to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and please make sure you put on your notification bell so that you'll be notified each time a new video is being uploaded on this channel. So guys, like I said before, make sure you don't skip any part of this video. This is a very lovely dress. Thank you so very much. Let's go ahead and do the needful. I'll be cutting the upper part of my dress first, and this right here is for the front part of my dress. So the first measurement I will take is my front neck depth, which is 3 inches from my shoulder. Then the next measurement is 10.5 inches from my shoulder. That will serve as my bust point, followed by my under bust, which is 14 inches from my shoulder, and the length of my upper body is 17.5 inches, including the sewing allowance. So I will take 3 inches, that's where I am right now, for my neck width. That's 3 neck depths, 3 inches neck depth and 3 inches neck width. So I will connect my neck curve. So after that, I will go ahead and take my shoulder measurement, which is 16 inches divided by 2. That will give me 8. So from there, I came down by 1 inch. And this 1 inch right here is for my shoulder slope. So from there, I will come down by 7 inches. And that will now serve as my chest line. So I will rule a line. Can you see that? So on my chest line, I will go ahead and take my shoulder measurements again, which is 16 inches divided by 2, and that will give me 8 inches. So I will now connect it down, and this line will now serve as my armhole line. So I came up by 1/2 an inch for sewing allowance. So the next measurement I'm taking right now is my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2, and that will give me 4 inches. So I added 1/2 an inch for sewing allowance. So I took that line from my half length to my chest line. So the next measurement I will take is my bust radius, which is the distance from my under bust to my bust point. Mine is 3.5 inches. So I will take it round. I placed my tape on my bust point. Then I measured 3.5 inches round. That is my bust radius. So I will extend the nipple to nipple line. So I will go ahead and take my darts. I'm taking dart of 1 inch on the both sides, both of my under bust and my half length line. So right here I'm taking 1¼ inches for my side front and 1 inch for my center front. So on my bust point, I came down by 1 inch, then I went up by 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and connect all my darts. Can you see what I'm doing? Our cup is already formed. It's very simple. Can you see? So from my bust point, I came up by 2 inches. So from that 2 inches I went in. I measured 3/4 inch in. Can you see? So I will now connect my center front curve. Just watch. I'll connect it to that 3/4 inch. Can you see that? So the 3/4 inch will now be my front neck depth. So I'll go ahead and blend it to the radius. Can you see? So I will take my bust measurement from my chest line. I will measure 9.5 inches. That's my bust divided by 4. So I'll come to my armhole line. I will measure the midpoint. So from that midpoint I measured 3/4 inch in. So I'll go ahead and create my armhole curve from there. So from my bust point again, this is now my side front. I will take 1 inch from my bust radius. Then from that 1 inch I will go up by 2 inches, just like I did at the front part. Then from that 2 inches I will now connect it to my side cup. Can you see? It's just the same thing I did for the center front. So I will connect it. So I will extend my dart line to my half length. So I'll go ahead and take all my horizontal measurements. My bust divided by 4. Then I added my sewing allowance. Remember to replace the dart you are cutting out. So I'm replacing all the darts. So I'll take all my horizontal measurements, my bust, my round under bust, and my half length. So I'll connect it. So now I'll go ahead and take 1 inch, no, 1.25 inch on my shoulder line. Remember, this dress is an halter neck. So this is what it looks like. I use knit for the upper part as shown in the video from the beginning of this tutorial. So I measured 1.25 inches from my neckline. That's my neck width. Just watch as I'm cutting it. So that first paper I just cut out now will serve as my center front. So if you're not making an halter neck, so you can cut it. That's why I have to take all the necessary measurements, my shoulder and all that. So in case you're not making an halter neck. Can you see? That's my yoke. So I'll cut the cup. So this part I'm cutting now will be my side front. So this cup, the first cup I've cut out is for the center front, and this last one is for the side front. So remember to label. So guys, we are done cutting the front part of the upper part of our dress. So right now we'll go ahead and cut the back. So this is for the back. I'm using neck depth of 1 inch followed by my chest line, which is 8 inches. So I'll take the same neck width of 3 inches. That is 1 inch by 3 inches neckline. My half length is 17.5 inches, including the sewing allowance. So I'll connect all the lines. So I'll go ahead and take my shoulder measurement, which is 16 inches divided by 2. That will give me 8 inches. So from that 8 inches, I came down as usual by 1 inch, and that will be my shoulder slope. So my chest line, I measured the same 8 inches again. So I connected it. I came up by half an inch again. This is for the shoulder joining. Remember, my dress is halter neck, in case you are not doing an halter neck. So I'll go ahead and take my nipple to nipple measurements, which is 4.5 inches. 8 inches divided by 2. So I'll connect the line. So I'll take my bust measurements divided by 4. So I connected my armhole curve. So I'll take the same 1.25 inches for my halter neck. I'll connect it to my armhole. So after that, I will go ahead and connect my back neck curve. So I'm taking half an inch for my back dart. I'll connect it to my chest line. Half inch for the both side. So because this is a corset dress and it has to be snatched, from my center back, I will go in by 2 inches, both on my half length and my chest line. I'll go in by 2 inches. These 2 inches, I'm going to cut it out. So from there, I will connect it to my, that back, that opening that used to be at the back. So I'm taking 3 inches. 3 inches on my chest line. I will measure 3 inches in. So I'll connect it to my neckline. So what I'm doing right now is just my horizontal measurements. My bust divided by 4 and my half length divided by 4. So you just input it. So I'll go ahead and cut my halter neck. So this is that back opening. Remember I said I measure 3 inches in for my back opening. So that's it right there. So this will now be for my center back and my side back. So the next thing I will do, our back part is ready. Can you see? The yoke, the center back and the side back. So I'll go ahead and cut all of them. The main fabrics, remember to cut on fold. So I added half an inch to it. This is my center back. I'll go ahead and cut my side back. So this is my main fabrics. I will still cut the same way for my lining and my hasty. So I will make a notch so that I'll be able to identify the upper part and the down part. So this is for my front. If you follow the process, you will never find it difficult. Please guys, remember to subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up. Share this video so that others will see and learn from it. So can you see my front? This is the front part of my corsets. So that opening right there is where my cup is going to, where I'm going to attach my cup. Can you see? This is my cup. After my hairstay, I place a wording. Please remember to leave half an inch for your sewing. Half an inch, that's the part, the cup part where you iron your wording. Can you see that? So I iron hairstay on other pieces, but for the cup I iron wording both on the lining. What I have here is 8 pieces, 4 pieces for the lining and 4 pieces for the main fabrics. So I'll go ahead and join. I'm joining the cup. Remember to number your cup so that you don't mix it up when you are joining. Number 1 and number 2, that's the center, the one for the center and the one for the side. Can you see? Can you see how beautiful my cup is? Very clean and beautiful. So I will do the same thing to all of them, but for the lining. Can you see my center front and my side front? So I'll go ahead and join them together. Everything I did for my main fabric, I will do the same thing to the lining. So I'm joining them with half an inch. After joining, it's very important that you give it a good press. That is very important. Always iron. Any stitch you make, give it a good press. Can you see? Hope you have subscribed to this channel and hope you have given this video a thumbs up. Thank you so very much guys. So go ahead and join the back parts, the center to the side. I'll do the same thing to the lining. Anytime you are making a dress that has all these pieces, always remember to give them something that you use to identify them so that you don't mix it up. So I'll go ahead and iron my cup opening. I will iron it open. Then after ironing, I will now trim out this seam. Can you see what I'm doing? So that there will be no tooth inside. So I'll trim it out. Be careful when you are trimming so that you don't cut your cup. Can you see? I'll do the same thing to all of them. Can you see? It's very firm. This is the lining. So I'll be joining lining to lining, then main fabric to the main fabric before I will now turn it. So I'm just trying to show you how it's going to be. So I'm done ironing my cup. So I'll go ahead and iron the main front parts. I'll give all of them a good press, all which I stitch. If you don't iron, how will you get a good finishing? So always remember to iron. It's very, very important in sewing. So this is the lining for the front. This is the lining for the back. Remember to trim out all the excesses, all the rope. So the next thing, what I'm doing right now is I'm sewing all my bony casing. I'm using a bias. So I'm attaching all my casing to the lining, not to the main fabric, because I don't want it to show. So it's going to be inside. It's going to be invisible. Both for the front and the back, I have about 16 bony casing. So you can do as much as you want. It depends on your choice. I'm sure by now you know how to stitch, how to create your bony casing. You can use the main fabric, you can use bias. So when you're using bias, remember it all depends on the size of your bony. If your bony is the big size, that means you don't need bias. You have to use the fabric for your bony casing. So I'm using a smaller bony, not the smallest, at least the one that can penetrate the bias. That's the one I'm using for this tutorial, for this dress. So I will stitch, then I will close it. Can you see? So this is my front. This is the main fabric. So I'll go ahead and attach my cup to it. Please remember to place your cup very well. When you are stitching your cup, remember that you have the center front and the side front, so don't mix it up. Make sure that the part that's supposed to be at the center is at the center, and the one that's supposed to be by the side is by the side. It's very, very important. If you don't get it right, it won't be fine, and it won't be right too. So I'll stitch it all round. I've stitched the first side, so I'll go ahead and stitch the center parts. Please always remember to hold your cup and the main body firm, so that none will be longer than the other. So for the side, I stitch from down, but for the center, I'm stitching from up. So can you see? Can you see what it looked like? So I'll do the same thing to both the lining. So I've attached all my cup. So the next thing I'm doing right now is to insert all my bony, as you can see. Might not be very easy, it might not be express, but you have to try. So always remember to leave half an inch up and half an inch down for your stitching, both up and down. You can even do more than half an inch. So I'll go ahead and insert all my bony to my lining. Can you see? So the next thing I will do is to give this a very good press. If you are using a steam iron, you steam and iron, but if you are not, you can sprinkle water just like me. Steam iron can consume light, so that's why I don't bother using it. So I'm okay with my water sprinkling. So anyone you do, just make sure that you iron properly. Just make sure that you give your dress a proper and quality ironing. Can you see? Can you see how relaxed it is? So I will iron the main fabric, iron the back part and everything. Can you see the back parts? I'm ironing it on the right side because it's the lining and no stain. So I'll go ahead and cut the yoke. This is for the front. Remember to cut on fold. You know my paper is not on fold, but I have to fold the material. If you're using a knit that stretches, you don't need to add allowance. The vertical, like this, my knit can stretch for Africa. So I didn't bother adding any allowance. Can you see? So I'll cut for the back parts. I don't need to double it because this net is ready-made net, is thick, not too thick, but it's very okay. So you don't need to double it. This is for the back part. Also remember to cut on fold. Can you see? I see the center back, the opening. So I'll go ahead and attach the yoke to the main body of the dress. So I'm going to stitch it differently. After stitching the yoke, I will now place the lining on top and stitch. I'll turn it with the lining. Can you see? I've stitched one part. I'll go ahead and stitch the second part. Please be very careful when you're doing this. It might not be express, but you have to try. Can you see? Isn't this lovely? So I will now place my lining on top. So it's because of these parts that I said you should not iron your wedding to the end of your cup, so that it will be easy for you to turn. So just leave 0.5 inch sewing allowance. So I'll notch. After notching, I will top stitch. I'll top stitch on the lining. Remember to push your seam to the lining part, then top stitch on top. Can you see that? Can you see? So this is the inside. Isn't this very lovely and neat? You don't even need to do much. You know why? Because my wedding did not get to the end of my cup. Can you see my cup? So I'll go ahead and turn it, because I don't want to weave. I'm not going to weave this dress, so everything has to be close. So I'll turn the two sides so that you don't see the sewing. After turning, remember to give it a good press. Can you see? I'll do the same thing to the back. Can you see what the inside of my corset is looking like? So I'll stitch it together. That cup area, I'll stitch it together there. I'll stitch it round so that it will stick with the lining. So I will go ahead and work on the back part of my dress. So on the center back, I will measure 1 inch. This 1 inch I'm measuring is for my loop. So I'm going to stitch all my loop to the center back. So I'll do that to the both sides. So this is what I'll be using for my loop. So this is 1 inch wide. I'll go ahead and stitch it. You know how to do this. You just fold the side. If you fold this part, you fold this part, then you now fold it again. You fold it close. You now close it. I don't know how to explain it, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So I don't have any particular measurements for this, so I'll just go ahead and stitch. If it's not enough, I will add, but if it's enough, good. So I'm going to be cutting 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches for one loop. So I'll fold it and stitch. So I'm going to stitch it all through, 1 inch after the other. I'm giving 1 inch space. So I'll run it down to the both side. Can you see that? So this is for the back yoke. If you watch, you see that I did not start it from the beginning. Can you see? I didn't place my yoke from the beginning. I will now place my lining under, then I'll go ahead and stitch. I left 1 inch before I place the yoke. So this is the second part. Can you see that opening at the center? Remember, I measured 3 inches for this back opening. So I'll go ahead and iron. So I place my hem gum inside so that they will stick together, the lining and the main fabric. So I'll go ahead and turn it. Just the same thing I did for the front part. Can you see that? I'll turn and stitch it close. I will do that to the 2 sides. Can you see? So I'll trim out all the excesses and the unwanted thread. We are almost done with our corset. Can you see? I've joined the front and these are my stone. I've already placed my stone. I use gum. I use B6000. So I'll go ahead and join the back and the front together. So this right here is for, you know, that cover for the back, for your back. After you tie your lace, after your lacing, that's how do I even put it? That used to cover the back now so that your skin will not show. A lot of people don't use it though. A lot of people want their skin to show, but this is, I'm just trying to let you know what this part is all about. So I'll stitch it to the main dress. Can you see it? Can you see? So some people rather leave it open, but I'm covering it. So when you now tie your lace, it will now be inside. Can you see how I stitch it to the main dress? So guys, this is for my neck, my turtleneck. This dress is a turtleneck. So I iron hairstay on one and there is no hairstay on one. So one is going to be serving as the lining. So I'll stitch it. Sorry, I didn't give more explanation on this part. The video is already long, but I hope you understand. It's very simple. So I will notch it. After notching it, I will top stitch. I'll top stitch on the one serving as the lining. Then I will iron. So I will now fold the one with hairstay. So I'll stitch with the lining, then cover it with the one with hairstay, the one I'm folding. So I'll now pick up my dress. I'll identify the midpoint of my neckline and I will do the same thing to the collar. So I'll stitch it from inside. Can you see what I'm doing? I'll stitch it from the wrong part of my dress, that's the inside. I'm stitching with the one without hasty first before I will now close it. Can you see? I'm done doing that. So this is the upper part of our dress. So go ahead and cut the flay. This is Ankara fabrics, and I have to join it so that I'll be able to get the full flay. So I have to join it. I have to join to the length. You know, Ankara is just 45 inches. So that's why I have to join it. So if you are cutting your full flay with Ankara and it's not, and you want to make it long just like my dress, so you have to join it. So I'll fold it twice. So after folding, I'll go ahead and take my waist radius. My waist radius is my total round waist divided by 6.28. That's the formula for your waist radius. So I will now take it, whatever it gives me, that's why I put it. Then the next measurement I'm taking now is now the length of my skirts. I measured my waist radius, then I added about 5 inches to what I got, because I want the volume. I want a quality volume for this flay, so I have to gather it. So that's why I added 5 inches to my radius. What I'm saying, if your round waist is 20, then you divide it by, you add 5 inches to it, it now be 25, then you now divide it by 6.28. So that's actually what I did here, because I want to gather it too. So it depends on what you want to achieve. So I have to measure it round. So I'll go ahead and cut. I'll cut out the radius first before I'll now cut. This is now the length of my skirts. Guys, we are almost through with this our tutorial. Hope you have given this video a thumbs up. Hope you have shared this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm giving you a raw tutorial. Please make sure you subscribe. So I will go ahead and cut the lining just the same way. The only thing is just that the main fabric is longer than the lining. Please remember to share this video. Share on your Facebook, share on your WhatsApp, so that people will learn from this tutorial. Thank you so very much. Love you so much. So now go ahead and gather. I'm going to gather it. I only cut one opening. So the same way I gathered the main fabric, I will also gather the lining with the same measurement. So after gathering with a loose stitch, then I will now stitch it. I will now stitch it again This time it has to be very tight so that it doesn't lose. So I'll go ahead and stitch on top the gathers. So I attach a crinoline to the down part of my flay. Can you see? I attach it from the front part, from the right part of my dress. So I will now stop stitch on the crinoline before I will now stitch it together. Can you see? I stitch crinoline round the long flay. It's very long. Oh. Can you see? I will top stitch. After top stitching, I will now push it inside and stitch. Can you see? I'm done doing that. So the next thing I will do is to attach the upper part and the down part of my dress together. I have to identify the midpoint of both the down part and the upper part. Then I will start my sewing from there. I will sew to this end, then I will turn it and sew to the other end, so that one will not be longer than the other. So that's the essence. So after attaching the main fabrics, I will now attach the lining so that the sewing will not show. Everything is just covered. Can you see? I place my lining on top of the main stitch. Then I will now stitch round just to cover the stitch, the seam. So I'll stitch it round. Guys, we are almost through with this little tutorial. Can you see what the inside is looking like? Everywhere is closed and it looks so clean. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. The next thing I will do is just to attach the zip to the skirt, and that's all about this tutorial. Bye for now.